What up, gamers? Welcome back to Kaboom!
Stand down, soldier.
We're back with yet another exciting video for you. But before we dive in, make sure to smash that subscribe button and get a good luck refill for the rest of this week. Do you love our channel? Support us now. Get your Kaboom membership and get cool badges, emoticons, and infinite luck in return.
Yeah, boy.
Just like some people, some streamers are straight up bad business. There's a bad bunch there who are involved in criminal activity or just terrible behavior in general. Luckily, they always get what they deserve. Here's a list of the 5 streamers who were arrested.
Get on the fucking ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. On the ground.
Number 5. MrBig arrested and robbed in the same night. To this day, no one knows why MrBig was arrested live on stream. In all honesty, it was the weirdest thing that the Twitch community had ever seen. The few facts that we do know, however, were that MrBig was playing a video game and being extremely loud, which is something his neighbor was not going to sit through. However, after being a normal person and heading over to his door to complain about the noise, MrBig just straight up insulted the person. So, the neighbor did something really bizarre. First of all, he called the cops. However, what happened afterwards is the very weird part. The police arrived and arrested MrBig for being a bit too rowdy, and then not apologizing to his neighbors or turning his volume down. Later in the same evening though, while the stream was still running, allegedly a neighbor of MrBig's came into the house and stole a bunch of his belongings. According to The Verge, shoes, headphones, cell phone, lighter, and wallet were all stolen from his apartment. Luckily though, the stream was still running, so the neighbor ended up getting caught red-handed. Number 4. Cheyenne. sHay. Victorio gets arrested for fraud. sHay Victorio's story is a weird one. The young Brazilian esports star was one of the most popular and most recognized streamers on Twitch. But she ended up getting into a horrible situation due to an online store that she created and ran. Cheyenne was one of the most popular female Counter-Strike Global Offensive Pro players, and she had amassed more than 100,000 followers on her Instagram account. So when the news broke that an online store was being run by her, the fans just dropped to get that merch. However, what followed afterwards was hugely unfortunate, as Cheyenne's entire life got to the verge of being ruined. According to ESPN in Brazil, this player who had taken the top prize at several major events on the continent ended up being convicted of fraud. A total of 118 people complained that they did not receive the goods and that they had ordered from her website, and the court ended up sentencing her to 30 years in prison. That seemed a little excessive, as the total cost of the 118 items was around $10,900, and yet she was being sent in for an eternity. Thankfully, she and her lawyers appealed to the court, and she successfully ended up avoiding jail, as she told repeatedly that it was due to her ex-husband's errors that those orders weren't delivered. Number 3. Rappiomatkaaja straight up streamed from jail. The incredibly awesome Finnish gamer Rappiomatkaaja ended up going to jail for an abundance of honestly very well-deserved reasons. He was widely known for the use of controlled substances, as well as some really outrageous behavior on both his streams and in public. However, back in 2019 was the most problematic thing that could have happened to him. Rappiomatkaaja ended up getting arrested for something known as causing confusion in public at an airport in Cambodia, and they ended up throwing him into a Cambodian prison right afterwards. Speculations are suggesting that it was the streamer's abuse of controlled substances that got him into the stint, yet there are no confirmations regarding that. Though what we do know for a fact is that Rappiomatkaaja did not let being in jail turn into an obstacle for his streaming career. The man straight up started streaming from within the jail. He would be walking around the prison hallways and showing the environment to his viewers. Rappiomatkaaja would blatantly walk around streaming, yet the authorities did not seem to care about this at all. This was one of the weirdest things to happen in Twitch's history, as the videos would end up being removed aggressively by the streaming company right after Rappiomatkaaja got released back in August 2019. You're still here, right? Smash that subscribe button before we continue. Number 2. Hampton Brandon was a proper criminal. Hampton Brandon was an IRL streamer who ended up committing so many different kinds of crimes that his laundry list of criminal endeavors ended up with him being banned off of Twitch and YouTube forever. Hampton Brandon, aka Brandon Grosso, has been notoriously bad to everyone around him, with the collection of charges placed against him being in abundance. He was charged with public drinking, assault, and destruction of public property. Yet those were the only ones that were publicly mentioned. There was probably a much larger list behind it all. Reports from sources showcase that Hampton Brandon was arrested inside of Austin, Texas after allegedly public drinking and assaulting people through threats. Apparently, through 6 months later, we find out that he's been arrested by a bounty hunter who claims that Grosso has 6 different warrants claimed against him. The streamer had been detained many times on stream, and this was just one of the few incidents. On July 5th of 2018, an Instagram live feed showed Brandon sat in the back of a car while in handcuffs. Number 1. MrDeadMoth assaults his pregnant wife on stream. By far the most despicable thing I've ever witnessed on Twitch. MrDeadMoth is a horrible human being, and this clip is actually hard to watch for us all. MrDeadMoth was an Australian Fortnite streamer who got notoriety for having explosive reactions to things happening on stream. However, the most explosive of his reactions were when he was on stream while playing Fortnite one day, and his wife, Claire Campbell, asked him to stop playing and come to dinner. Claire was 4 months pregnant at the time, and in a fit of violent rage, MrDeadMoth began to assault his wife, while his child was crying in the background. Viewers were definitely distraught by the incident and immediately called the police on Deadmoth. Thankfully, they arrived on time and the stream had been clipped so much that there was no avoiding it by any means at that point. He was arrested and then charged with assault, which he obviously had to plead guilty since he had committed the assault. The worst part about this all is that he got left off with a slap on the wrist. He was sentenced to 14 months in community service and a 2 weeks ban from Twitch. His ex-partner had to get a restraining order against him due to the way the proceedings turned out.
Go away.
No gaming.
I will be out soon.
No gaming.
I will be out soon.
No gaming anymore.
You don't want to listen? I said I'll be out soon.
No gaming anymore.
I said I will be out soon.
No, get off the game.
I will. Yeah, I'm coming, Annabelle.
Check out this video. It's specially selected for you. You'll like it.